Hello again. Now, the DA is once again pushing to take over policing in the Western Cape. Federal Council Chair Helen Zille announced the formation of what is known as the Western Cape Devolution Working Group. It claims that national government is increasingly unable to discharge its constitutional duties in terms of policing. Let's discuss this now with policing expert Eldred de Klerk. Eldred, good afternoon. Welcome to today. Thank you very much for your time. This attempt to devolve, to have the policing being devolved to a province, has previously been shot down, literally, by the President, Ramaphosa, citing different parts of the Constitution. But this working group is going ahead now. Does it have a case? Can it succeed, even if the Constitution does not make provision for such devolution?
Well, thank you. And that's an interesting question because, yes, the Constitution is very clear that we need a national police service, and the national police service needs to have a manifestation at a local level. And that part of that is the allowance for municipal police. That's it. The Constitution, furthermore, including the Police Act, makes provision for the provincial executive to have political oversight, to engage the police at a provincial level in setting provincial priorities. And also, if need be, and this is where I think the DA's argument falls short, consider how provincial resources and local government resources can be used to augment and strengthen the capability of the police at a provincial and at a local level to be more effective. This is all already there. What we've seen, though, is that we've seen a breakdown in the relationship between the provincial head of police in the Western Cape, the provincial commissioner, and the provincial government and the MEC of police in particular over the last number of years. And this might be part of the consideration and part of what led to this that we're sitting with today.
Yes. One would wonder what then Helen Zille, the DA Federal Council chairperson, together with other leaders, the likes of Freedom Front Plus, African Christian Democratic Party, Cape Independence Party, AfriForum, Cape Independence Advocacy Group, Action Society, Cape Forum, SAI, and others who are part of this, how they hope they're going to be achieving their goal if constitutionally it's not catered for.
Well, everything that the South African Police Service needs in terms of strengthening its capability, strengthening its structured leadership, and ensuring that it has strategic direction can and should be achieved on behalf of all of us through joint and cooperative government. That better serves the people of South Africa as a direction going forward. This idea of we stand in opposition or the claim that we can do it better, and that's a completely untested claim, that it can be and it will be done better if necessarily devolved to a provincial level. That's not a claim that holds water at the moment. We are better served through joint and cooperative government and through all these people coming to the table and squarely looking the challenges of transformation of South African Police Service squarely in the eye, putting it on the table, and us coming up with shared and common ideas.
I'm looking at their statement that they issued, this group, Eldred. I mean, one of the things they are mentioning, they are mentioning as well issues of the Western Cape Premier being enabled to directly consult the people of the Western Cape on specific issues via referendums. And their group, this working group, the Devolution Working Group, says it will use all legal means at its disposal, including formal legislation, political lobbying, legal action, public participation, and peaceful mass mobilization. It looks like they want to do this in a big way. And my observation, I'm looking at the organizations involved there. They seem to be sitting on the right of political spectrum.
That's an interesting observation because you're absolutely right. We've seen a shift to the right in Europe. We've seen it in the US. And we've seen it in the UK, for example. The global trend has been to nationalize police services because it takes away issues of jurisdiction. It allows for a comprehensive national security strategy that squarely locates the police within that said strategy. And it allows for better cooperation and better information sharing between other state agencies like Home Affairs, Border Control, Health, Education, and Correctional Services, for example. All the initiatives that is currently put out there as interventions that this group wants to do, none of those are novel and none of them are particularly new. They are all known. Hence the claim that if this is not novel and new, what they're seeking to do with the South African Police Service, at least at a provincial level, that's also needed at a national level. Nobody is arguing that those interventions are not necessary. The only claim they seem to have is that they have the political will, they have the kind of quality of leadership that will get the job done. That seems to be the only claim that they can be making in relation to the devolution and transformation of the South African Police Service.
Yeah, I mean, I saw a report, I don't know whether it's the mayor of Cape Town or it's the Western Cape Premier, I stand for correction, but saying they've written to Minister, or Police Minister Bheki Cele, asking him to assign or transfer the responsibility of the National Commissioner to control and manage the single national police service to a member of the Provincial Executive Council. I think it came from the province or a municipal council. And the president responding say that it's not in line with the constitution and the standing his ground. Just to get a sense from you, where should the energies be going forward? If you were advising Helen Zille and the rest of the members of the Western Cape Devolution Working Group about the best way going forward, what would you tell them, Eldred?
Well, the interesting thing is who else other than Helen Zille and the named groupings are part of this devolution working group, because their ideology is going to be quite important.
Yes, I've got yeah, I mean, the organizations here, we've got the DA, we've got the Freedom Front Plus, we've got the ACDC, we've got Cape Independence Party, AfriForum, Cape Independence Advocacy Group, Action Society, Cape Forum, and something called SAI, SAAI, and several legal experts who are not named. So, as I said, Ella, my observation, they're sitting on the right wing of the political spectrum.
Well, it's interesting because the fight against crime and violence in South Africa should actually be one of ensuring safety and security for all. We have...
That's a good point. Sorry, Eldred. That's a good point, because somebody from Khayelitsha or the Khayelitsha Development Forum, or somebody from Nyanga, or somebody from those badly affected crime-ridden areas where there's been gangsters, people from Bonte-Hevel should also feel that they are included in this endeavor to devolve the policing, if at all it's possible. But currently we know it's not.
Absolutely. And you can't transform the crime and violence landscape in South Africa without addressing the political economy that actually bedevils the country and is affecting the region at large. That includes the neoliberal policy to privatize policing, to sell up state resources, to privatize key state resources like energy, water supply, food supply. All of those things should, to my mind, be under public control and be for the public good. So that's the one thing. You've got to deal with the geopolitical challenges in South Africa. The second challenge you have to deal with, otherwise you can do all that you can with policing, as long as the poor stays poor and the rich continue to get rich, and the classism that continue to exist in South Africa on the back of the racist divides will continue to make us vulnerable as a state and will continue to make us vulnerable as the people of South Africa. We have to deal with the geopolitical reality that bedevils South Africa.
Thank you very much for your time and insights on this issue of the calls by this working group led by the DA in the Western Cape for the devolution of policing from national level to the Western Cape and also maybe to municipalities, so to the city of Cape Town. But the Constitution, as we sit here today, does not provide for that.